Coming up on News in Depth, Parika mother allegedly murdered by her husband. Department of Housing in talks with credit union on the provision of mortgages, and government in meet with stakeholders on VAT on tuition. News in Depth begins now. With tonight's edition of News in Depth, I'm Mafa Wharton. Thanks for joining us. First up, a Parika mother of 3 was allegedly murdered by her husband.
A woman was found dead in the home she shared with her reputed husband and father of her children. She was identified as 29-year-old Danwanti Ram of Parika on the east bank of Essequibo. The police are working on the theory that the man strangled his reputed wife to death, left her motionless body, and fled the scene. Her father spoke with members of the media.
This boy always abuse him. I try to make things right. I come to them. Anything I want, anything I helping them. Every time I come yesterday, I talk to you. Say when you're sober, I'm going to come and talk to you. This man, my daughter call me. I tell him I come in there now. I left home, come before I come, she don't kill she. That's all I know. That's when the police go in there, and I see that he got a sheet around her neck and knot, and she was strangled.
Family members said the woman was a victim of domestic violence and suffered years of abuse at the hands of the man.
No, I always tell you, man, you got to treat him for you, and I must try and live good, but I'm going to afford help, I help you. And just let me tell you that I come this morning, do not left shit, and I come, right? But when I come, she done dead.
A neighbor said a few days ago the woman developed the courage to walk away from the relationship, but things got out of hand.
But before that, he have many times they have affairs and problems. And the last rounds, he run she with a cutlass, and because she run to me rescue, and I rescue her. And the people, the neighboring, and everybody stop talking to me, say I encouraging she. But then again, I can't see a husband run and a wife with 2 children and got them crying after 9 at night. And she run to me rescue, and I rescue her. So normally they have... Yeah, every now and then there's got problems. Every time he drink, they always cussing out one another and those stuff.
The police in a release said the suspect, a 28-year-old laborer, went to the victim's house at Parika and demanded that she return to his home, to which she refused, and he allegedly abused her and left. According to the police report, around 6 hours this morning, the victim was on her way to the Parika police station to lodge a report against the suspect when he intercepted and took her to his home, where she was later found by a relative, motionless and in a sitting position, with a bed sheet tied around her neck.
More news on the other side of this break.
Hey, looky there. Let me go techie boots.
Boots? No, man, I ain't gonna get lock up teeth in them big stinky 30-second boots. Plus, it can be more cheaper online. And then got my favorite color, pink. Let me go along.
Online shopping. Cheaper, faster, better. Passback.
Morning.
Your family will love new Abbey butter spread.
Thank you, Mommy.
A heart-healthy choice with no cholesterol. Abbey is ready to use right out of the fridge. Smooth, spreadable, rich and creamy, Abbey is a great tasting butter spread. Try it today.
A man's beer.
Welcome back. The Department of Housing is in discussion with the Credit Union League on the provision of mortgages to its members. The disclosure was made at a meeting with the soldiers. The Department of Housing today continued its outreach to the disciplinary forces in an attempt to promote its housing solution plans. Headed by Junior Communities Minister with responsibility for housing, Valerie Adams Patterson, the delegation met with soldiers at the Ghana Defense Forces headquarters, Base Camp Ghana.
So I know that some of you may have received house lots before, and you'll say to me that where you receive a house lot, there is no road, or there is no water, or there is no electricity. We quite understand that, But just to say that, those are new, not newly developed communities. So the way forward for us, as we develop new housing schemes now, they have to be cohesive. They have to be livable.
Chief Executive Officer Leland Saul said the authority has recognized that several allottees were unable to access mortgages, which has resulted in persons failing to occupy lots. He explained that the current housing plan was birthed out of the unsustainability of the house lot program.
I know that you might have some reservation. Of course, people need their own units. But I want to assure you what we are doing in terms of the design and the aesthetic. It is something that you would want to get involved in because we take several factors into consideration in developing these units. Of course, we are looking at costs. We want to bring costs down. Whatever we are doing, we want it to be cost efficient because we want you to benefit from it.
The current program caters to the needs of low to moderate income earners.
Morning.
Hi, honey.
Your family will love new Abe butter spread.
Thank you, Mommy.
A heart-healthy choice with no cholesterol, Abe is ready to use right out of the fridge. Smooth, spreadable, rich and creamy, Abe is a great tasting butter spread. Try it today.
Nothing compares to the class and beauty of Beeson Windows and Doors, engineered by professionals and built to last longer than the competition. Buy 10 windows and get one 24x16 bathroom window absolutely free. No tricks, no gimmicks, and no hidden fees. Prices starting from $13.5 VAT inclusive. So visit our showroom today at Lot 1228 New Eccles Industrial Site or BPAT's building on Regent Street and save big on UPVC or aluminum windows. To order now, call 622-4197 or 226-1292.
The government is to meet with stakeholders on VAT on tuition.
2 days before the Ministry of Education is meeting with parents and administrators of private schools who are now being called upon by the administration to pay a 14% VAT on tuition, the parents gave the ministry a reminder of their concerns by protesting in front of the ministry.
The government heed our cry on this. Well, please take off the VAT on the education.
I think there's much more that we need to be talking about in terms of education. So I hope, this can open some other conversations.
You're talking about $350 million out of $250 billion, something like that. So there's, that's 1,000. You're not anywhere close to saying that this is such an important thing. And when you think of the benefit of education, when you think the stake the government has in education, when you think of its obligation in education, you realize this is just not worth it. It really is very misguided.
The government said 8 of the top private schools have raked in over $2 billion for last year. Coupled with that, most of the private schools are registered as non-for-profit organizations. On Friday, the Minister of Education and a team of government ministers will be meeting with parents and operators of private schools at 11 at the National Culture Center. A release from the Ministry of the Presidency stated that the decision was taken by Cabinet at its meeting on Tuesday. The ministry said they are hoping to have a frank and open discussion.
That's a wrap for this edition of News in Depth. Do join us again, same time tomorrow for another edition.